Fox Sports.
The most intriguing story in spring training was C.J. Wilson's desire to become a starter. His desire translated into results, and he was rewarded with the number 3 spot in the Rangers' rotation. His highly anticipated debut is coming up. It's the Rangers and Blue Jays closing out the first series of the season. And the two BFFs for the last 10 years, Vernon Wells and Michael Young, always get together when the Blue Jays and the Rangers get together. It is the only time all year the Blue Jays will be playing here in Arlington. This 3-game series, part of opening week, presented by Mitsubishi Motors. The Rangers are 1-1. The Blue Jays are 1-1. And today is that big first start for C.J. Wilson. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin. Welcome to Texas Ranger Baseball. They say you got to ask for what you want, and C.J. Wilson asked for it. He got it. He is in that starting rotation.
Yeah, there's one thing to ask, there's one thing to get it, and then you got to produce. And whatever questions people might have had about C.J. as a starter, he answered in spring training. He was probably more efficient with his pitches as a starter in spring training than he was last year as a relief pitcher. His numbers were terrific. He only gave up 14 hits in 25 innings. He had a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He looked like a starting pitcher from the minute he took the mound, and now it's time to go out and do it during the regular season.
His catcher will be Taylor Teagarden, and that's going to be something that happens for a little while now. It's Jared Saltalamacchia going on the DL. We'll talk more about that when we go forward. It's the Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays when we come back. Ford F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By Progressive. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. By Jack in the Box. Try Jack's new grilled sandwiches, the turkey bacon cheddar or the deli trio. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. Sunshine and 64 degrees. It is a real nice day for baseball. Not a cloud in the sky here in Arlington, and plenty of seats available. If you're in the area, grab a buddy. Come on out. Watch C.J. Wilson make his first start since August of 2005. The Dukes of Hazzard movie wasn't even out. That's how long we got to go back to find C.J. Wilson out on the mound. Mike McCoy is leading off instead of Aaron Hill being at second base today. Hill's got a tight hammy, and he's out. So it's McCoy leading off, making his Blue Jay debut. Bautista Lind and the mashing Vernon Wells. Overbay and Encarnacion, Gonzalez and Jose Molina getting his first action of the year. Then Travis Snyder, and yep, C.J. Wilson. First regular season start since August of 05. And we'll scout him out for you right here.
Well, we talked about C.J. in the open, how well he pitched in spring training. He only gave up 14 hits in 25 innings during the spring. Career opponents average exceptionally tough on left-hand hitters, not quite as tough on righties. I think he's probably a different pitcher at this stage of his career than he was earlier in his career. I think the stuff that he has is much more suited now to get right-hand hitters out, and I wouldn't look for that to be a big problem for C.J. He has so much movement on his pitches and such a good assortment of pitches that he can get you out in a lot of different ways.
He has developed beautifully since that last start. That last start he made against the Cleveland Indians. And there's no two ways around it, Tag. He was ducking bullets like he was in the Matrix out there on the mound. Those right-handers were just teeing off on him. It's a very different guy now here in 2010.
Yeah, he's got his fastball now, has great sinking action, tails away from right-hand hitters. He throws a changeup. He's got a hard slider he can throw down and into the right-hand hitters. He has a curveball that he can throw. So a lot of different ways he can get you out.
Mike McCoy is the first to face him. Former Colorado Rocky takes a strike on the outside corner.
There are a lot of times in relief where C.J. might come in and throw the ball 94 to 97 miles an hour. He may not be that kind of a guy as a starter just because he's got to throw 100 pitches and pitch 7 innings, but he'll still have plenty of velocity and that little extra when he needs it, I would guess.
Towards center, Barbone got a late jump, and he is not going to be able to get it. Base hit. That's something that C.J. did not allow the last time he pitched at this ballpark 6 days ago, right? He had the spring training start. It was 5 no-hit innings. Murphy's in left instead of Josh Hamilton today. Hamilton needing a day off and getting one. Michael Young's at third. Andrus and Blanco up the middle, with, of course, Kinsler still on the DL. Garco in for Davis at first today. A former Stanford Cardinal holding down the fort at first.
That's a base hit, not necessarily a bad pitch, though. He got the ball in pretty well. McCoy just hit it off the handle and dumped it into center field for a soft single.
It's funny how every spring training there is one storyline that just kind of permeates everything. Last year, of course, it was Michael Young and the move to third base. This year, now it was all about C.J. Wilson and should he or should he not be in the rotation. There were real good arguments on both sides.
I think the biggest argument against it was his value as an 8th inning bullpen guy. I don't think anyone opposed it from the perspective that he couldn't do it as a starting pitcher. I think everybody thought that he had the potential to be an outstanding starting pitcher. It was just, would that fit best with what was best for the team? Turned out that it did, and he is in the rotation.
And Ron Washington said if he had showed us he was a back end of the rotation guy, he would have gone back to the bullpen, because there's plenty of guys who can be the number 5 guy. But once he proved he could be a number 2 or a number 3, that's kind of what carried the day. The other thing that I guess was a no vote for C.J. Wilson coming out of the pen, the fact that for his career, Tommy averages close to 18 pitches per inning. But that's nice and tidy. The Venezuelans turn it 6-4-3. Andrus to Blanco, and then on to Garco, and that will keep your pitch count down.
Well, that's one thing C.J. can do that'll help him. as a starting pitcher over the course of 100 pitches is his ability to keep the ball down and make it sink and get ground balls. And when you've got men on base, that's a real asset. And that's one thing that is a little bit difficult, for instance, for Rich Harden to do. He doesn't get a lot of ground balls. In fact, he doesn't get much contact at all. And so it's tougher for him to get out of an inning with a double play because he won't get as many ground balls. For CJ, he should be able to utilize that very well. The other guy in this game that utilizes that very well, we'll talk more about him, is Ricky Romero.
No doubt. That's who's pitching for Toronto. Our Geico quote of the day, Ron Washington talking about C.J. Wilson's spring training and that throwing to contact thing. We just saw that. Bautista hitting into the double play. One and one to Ranger killer Adam Lind. CJ got him, though. Ryan Garco to CJ, to the bag. It's a 10-pitch inning. That goes beautifully. Ground out, and now here come the Rangers against another lefty to talk about today. Ricky Romero is on the mound for Toronto. And like C.J. Wilson, he had a real nice spring training. The Rangers lineup brought to you by Southwest. Bourbon and Young. Garco is in for Davis at first. Vlad Guerrero has just had a fantastic experience hitting at this ballpark. Nelly Cruz homers in both games of the year so far. David Murphy in for Hamilton, Teagarden, Blanco, and Andrews. There's a scouting report on Ricky Romero. Those 13 wins last year, second among American League rookies.
Yeah, he had a good season last year for a rookie with a 13-9 record. He had 29 starts. He's on the disabled list a little bit early. And as we alluded to when CJ was pitching, one thing he's very good at is getting ground balls. He had the best ground ball to fly ball ratio in the American League and more ground into double plays, 30, than anyone in baseball last year. So that sinker ball, ground ball, is a real asset to him.
Big shoes to fill, too, because he's being looked at as the guy that can probably win the most games for them this year. That means he essentially takes the place of Roy Halladay. And the rest of Toronto's rotation all year last year was falling to pieces, but this guy's stock just kept rising. With that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, he's got a kind of a sinking changeup. Boy, the changeup's been devouring the Rangers so far this year. Sean Markham had a great one. Brian Tallett, same story. On the ground, Bourbon still bidding for his first hit of the year. He's now 0 for 9. Snyder, Wells, and Bautista in the outfield for Cito Gaston's group. There's your infield, and Ricky Romero works to Jose Molina behind the plate. You know, it's interesting, Tom. Jose Molina and John Buck are both guys that the Rangers kind of kicked the tires on. Figured maybe they'd come in here to be a backup catcher. Rod Barajas was on that list. There were a few guys that were considered, and all of them essentially said no thank you because the Rangers were honest and said, we're looking at Saltalamacchia to be the #1 guy. You'd be coming in here just to back up. As it turns out, Salty's now on the DL as of today. And the Rangers making the corresponding roster move. Matt Traynor had to drive from Oklahoma City to get here this morning, as Salty's on the DL with stiffness in his upper back.
Well, you owe it to kids that are free agents to be honest with them, because they have choices and you don't want to sign someone under false pretenses. So I think most teams are pretty upfront when it comes to that. It's only fair to the player, and a player has to make his decision based on what the information is at the time.
You mentioned Romero getting ground balls. He's got 2 of them already. So yeah, Matt Traynor, who was brought in as an insurance policy. Rangers cash in on that policy right away on April 8th. Again, just a great day for baseball here at the ballpark. We're supposed to hit 68, 69 degrees at some point. 0 clouds. Not one. All right, let's verify.
0 clouds that we can see anyway. There might be some behind us, but I agree. I see no clouds where we're looking.
I'm sure, like, for example, if, in Arkansas, there's probably a cloud.
Really? It's a different sky in Arkansas?
That's green over there. Garco, another ground ball induced by Ricky Romero. Both pitchers throw 10 pitches and have a pretty easy time of it in the first. No score.
Vernon Wells at the plate and his wife, Charlene Wells, right here to talk about Vernon's foundation. That is Perfect 10 Foundation, right?
Yes, and I need to give credit to the Rangers. Tawny Taylor and Michael Young and his wife Christina invited us on a shopping spree back in 2007, and we were shopping for homeless children. That night changed our world, and Vernon and I realized that we were blessed in this game to be a blessing to others, and that's what we're going to do. And 8 months later, we opened our foundation.
Tell us what Perfect 10 Foundation is all about.
Well, it was originally designed to support and protect children in need, and then earlier this year, we partnered with Arms of Hope, this amazing organization who has a Together program, and they support...
Sorry, Vernon just drowned out. Good news for us then.
So they support single mothers and children that are homeless So on our off day 2 days ago, we had the privilege of breaking ground on Perfect 10's first 2 quads. They're going to house 8 single moms and their children, and we're going to equip them with life skills that will help them break the cycle of poverty in their lives.
And you got a golf tournament coming up in November, correct?
We do. November 14th and 15th is our gala and our golf tournament, respectively. Last year we raised $180,000. We had your own Tom Grieve and Michael, Ian, Josh. We had Bernie Williams. We had Tori Hunter. They all came out and supported us. So if you want to come, register online at VernonWellsFoundation.org. You can also donate or volunteer your time.
All right, you see the information on your screen. There we go. Charlene, nice meeting you. Thank you very much. Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. And as much as Vernon Wells has been wearing out the Rangers, it'd be, nice, I guess, if you could work up a healthy dislike for Vernon Wells, but you just can't, I mean, he's a great dude and doing some real nice things here in the community.
If CJ wasn't pitching, he would have had another base hit with that little tapper back toward the mound.
Very Kenny Rogers-like, the way he went after it.
Not many guys have the agility to pounce on that ball like CJ did.
Well, and, I bring up Kenny Rogers for another reason here, Tag. That, we talk about making that transition from being a reliever to being a starter. And, boy, it certainly worked for Kenny Rogers. He went on and did it for about a dozen years after he made that transition.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between the two, Kenny didn't relieve that long. And right from the start, he was viewed as a starting pitcher who made the team as a reliever, but it was just a matter of time. I think in CJ's case, it's probably even more dramatic because he had settled in as a closer, as a setup man. And after doing it for that long, I think it's a little bit more of a dramatic change. However, he's got the style and the amount of pitches to be a starting pitcher. And it sure hasn't been very difficult for him to make the transition, even though he was relieving for such a long time.
And it certainly can be done, going from a reliever who throws 70 innings a year to a starter who you hope throws 200. Ryan Dempster did it. Adam Wainwright did it. And C.J. Wilson's insisting he can do it too. (3-0) to Encarnacion, who's still looking for his first hit of the year. Walked him. Which I guess brings us to yesterday's game, which we haven't really talked about yet, but if you missed it, 7-4 was the final. Rangers lost, and kind of self-evident. You're not going to, it's like saying you're not going to lose much weight if you eat cupcakes and ho-hos. You're not going to win many ball games when you walk 10 and hit 2. That's just unfortunately where it was for the Rangers yesterday. Rich Harden looked like he had pretty good stuff, but he threw 90 pitches, got no ground ball outs. It's like he had channeled his inner Bobby Witt. 5 walks and 8 strikeouts in 3+ innings. Well,
yeah, I think what else was pretty apparent was by the end, when he'd walked the last 2 batters with bases loaded, he was just out of gas. He was tired. And the difference between throwing 90, there's a huge difference between throwing 90 or 100 pitches spread over 6 or 7 innings than over 3 1/3. He just threw a lot of pitches in a short amount of time, and when it was all over and done with, it just looked like he was gassed. He couldn't get the ball down. There was an error in that inning, and without that error, there's a good chance Rich gets out of that inning. Real good chance without any damage. Maybe comes back and pitches the 5th, has a good 5th inning, throws his 90 pitches, leaves giving up 1 or 2 runs, and pitches 5 innings. So there's other things involved as well. But basically, Rich is healthy, had the stuff to strike out 8 guys in 3 2/3, and I think he can build on that.
5 different Ranger pitchers yesterday, and as you pointed out during the broadcast, Tom, they each allowed exactly 1 hit. 5 1-hitters turned in by the Rangers.
Very good. There's a lot of things unusual about the line last night, the stats in last night's game, but that was an interesting sideline to it.
C.J. Wilson carves up Alex Gonzalez. You see that thing move?
Yeah, a great changeup that he missed, and then a breaking ball down and in that he couldn't lay off of.
Still no score. The Rangers and Toronto. Arlington featuring an exciting lineup of concerts this year. Clint Black this Saturday. Third Day is coming in. Wade Bowen, to name a few. For a complete listing, go to TexasRangers.com/concerts. Vlad Guerrero leads it off. At his first home run as a Ranger yesterday, a no doubt about it, majestic shot to left field. And the numbers that you're viewing from last year, that's why the Rangers got him at a discount price for here in 2010. That was, I mean, those are still pretty good numbers, but those were off-year numbers for Vlad Guerrero in year in which he was hurt. There's that big Vladdy swing. He dips behind now. 1-2.
I think the Blue Jay pitchers have done a great job of this, keeping the ball away from the hitter zone. Talent, Markham, and so far Romero been doing a great job of moving the ball in and out, but for the most part keeping the ball away from the Ranger hitters, keeping it down.
Well, and especially when you look at what Josh Hamilton has suffered through, as he has struck out in 7 of his 8 at-bats so far this year, including 5 in a row.
Well, the Blue Jay pitching has been good in this series. Romero is a highly touted Blue Jay prospect. He was a 6th pick in the 2005 draft. College pitcher, Cal State Fullerton. Pitched in the College World Series. Pitched for Team USA. So he's a highly touted amateur coming into pro ball.
Vlad reaching for it and pokes it behind the bag at second. Vladimir Guerrero is safe. And he leads the team in hits. He's got 5 now in 8 Ranger at-bats. And strangely, he's got as many infield hits now this year as anybody else on the team.
Well, that was almost the same hit that he got on opening day in the 9th inning. To the shortstop side of second base. And almost the same play. Hill in the opener had to dive and knock the ball down to keep a run from scoring. On that particular play, McCoy was shading him that way, got to the ball, but was so far away, just wasn't able to make the throw to get Vladimir. Shortstop plays way around to pull. That's why he wasn't in position to catch that ball.
Now the other guy who's been swinging the big stick so far, Nelson Cruz. He and Guerrero went back-to-back yesterday on consecutive pitches. As of right now, Ted, you've got Guerrero and Cruz, a combined 8 for 15 this year. Everyone else on the Rangers combined is 4 for 53.
Wow.
That's softly in there for a strike. Nelly's homered in both games so far this year. He's never had a stretch where he's homered in 3 straight. This is just kind of par for the course. He homered twice in the first 2 games last year as well. To right field, he's been doing that a lot. And again, the Guerrero and Cruz connection carrying the Rangers in this series. Nelly steamrolling towards second, and he's there with a hustling double.
Off the bat, you're thinking single, and then you watch Nelly run and hustle, and it turns into a double. Same thing in the opener in the 9th inning. He dumped one into right field. You said, good, there's a good base hit. And you'd stay out of the double play because Nelly gets out of the box, busts it all the way. Twice he stretched a single into a double in this series.
Yeah, that was a big hit in the 9th inning comeback before, obviously, Saltalamacchia won it. And David Murphy will have a gold-plated RBI opportunity. We mentioned Hamilton off to a tough start, just getting the day off today. Murphy playing left instead. Infield is in maybe a step, but that's it, as Murphy takes down and outside. Murphy, who began last year 0 for 23, rallied and hit close to 270 by the end of the season. This year he is simply out 0 for 1. Murphy cranks another foul. Romero, his pitcher, facing David Murphy. As Tom mentioned, high round pick, drafted ahead of popular Rocky shortstop Troy Tulowitzki, among others. There's one of those ground balls that he just always seems to get when he needs it. Now he will face Taylor Teagarden, and back when Romero was pitching at Cal State Fullerton, as you mentioned, Tag, when Fullerton took on UT in the College World Series in that championship final, it was Romero on the mound in Game 1 facing Taylor Teagarden. Taylor was part of that Longhorn team in 2005. Andres Blanco on deck. Teagarden takes a strike, and again the news of the day, Taylor's going to be seeing a little bit more playing time now than he probably would have had Saltalamacchia not landed on the DL. Matt Traynor brought up from AAA. Bounced it up there.
Before Romero went to the disabled list last year, he got off to a great start. In April, he was 2-0, had 3 starts. His ERA was under 2. He spent a little bit of time on the disabled list, came back, finished it off with a good, solid season. Good solid rookie season.
He had a run of 24 scoreless innings in a row at one point.
Yep.
And again, when everything's down, you've got a chance to have a run like that. That, for him, that passes for a high pitch. Number 6 pick, as you mentioned. You too were a number 6 pick back in the day.
That's right.
So was Derek Jeter.
Yeah, Jeter, I remember Jeter's draft, watching it from afar. Jeter was probably the best player in that draft. It was the Astros had the first pick, but teams were shying away from him because of his college scholarship. Didn't know if they'd be able to sign him or not. And as fate would have it for the Yankees, that allowed him to fall right into their laps. They didn't care what it cost. They were going to sign him. I think some of the teams picking ahead of the Yankees that year shied away from him because they weren't sure they could sign him. Phil Nevin ended up being the first pick in that draft.
One-time Ranger who is now managing this year in Erie, Pennsylvania.
And Phil went on to have a nice big league career, put up some big numbers in San Diego, but not with the Astros, who originally drafted him.
Barry Bonds was a number 6 overall as well. That worked out okay. That was in '85. Taylor Teagarden unable to get the guys around, so it is left now to Andres Blanco. Remember, this was 2nd and 3rd and nobody out.
You like to see Blanco dump one in to pick these 2 runs up. You just hate to see it, an opportunity any time in the game, 2nd and 3rd and nobody out, where you can't make the kind of contact to at least get one of those runs in. Sacrifice fly, ground ball, anything could have got those runs in. And so it's going to be up to Blanco to try to do it with 2 outs. That's why you always hear people say how pleasing those 2-out hits are with men in scoring position.
The game yesterday, one of the bizarre aspects, I think, of the game, that 7-4 game yesterday, it's 11 runs scored total, right? The 2 teams combined to go 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position, and still somehow there were 11 runs in that game. Back behind the bag, McCoy throws him out, didn't quite dump it.
Home runs and unearned runs.
Yep, that was all that was happening yesterday. Disappointing second for the Rangers. Second and third, nobody out. They didn't score, and it's back to C.J. Wilson. Geico Insurance, for 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Visit att.com for details. Oh, just an awesome afternoon here in Arlington. Mid-60s, blue skies, and the blue glove lefty on the mound here. C.J. Wilson making his first start in 5 years. Lobbied for it, got it. That whole thing, I think, to me anyway, Tag, I mean, what it looked like at the start of spring training kind of looked like humoring C.J. Wilson. You know, let him say he tried, and once it backfires, then he'll embrace the bullpen thing after all. But C.J. made a believer out of everyone.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way. I never looked at it like there was a chance that it would backfire. I just looked at it, there was a chance that C.J. might pitch very well as a starter, but still not be rewarded with his wish to be a starter just because it fit in better with him in the 8th inning and other starters in the rotation who were competent starters. As it turned out, when Tommy Hunter was hurt, they needed C.J. Wilson in the starting rotation.
Yeah, that was a good break.
And as it turns out, I'd be very surprised if C.J. ever looks back to the bullpen again. He's always impressed me as a starting pitcher, pitching in relief. Because of the assortment of pitches he has. You know, he's not the kind of guy that just comes in, throws sinker, slider, or has one dominating pitch like some relievers, like Trevor Hoffman's changeup or Mariano Rivera's cut fastball. He has the repertoire of a starting pitcher, and once he set his mind to it, I didn't look at it. There's much chance that he'd fall on his face, as would that fit the team best.
He strikes out Molina on the outside corner, and yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with you that, you know, the wanting to start thing, he didn't look at it as some lark. He took it extremely seriously, got in great shape. He just got after it.
Yeah, and I don't think that anyone else took it as a lark either. It's just that the one question that was legitimate was, would he be able to be efficient with his pitches to the point where he could throw 100, 105 pitches and pitch 6 or 7 innings? Or would he be a 4 or 5 inning pitcher based on throwing too many pitches per inning? That was a legitimate question. But I think he set people's minds to ease during spring training. But as far as the stuff goes, the makeup, the mentality, I don't think there's any doubt that he would have the starters' mentality to do that.
Well, as you said, and Nolan Ryan echoed it, he's got the 3 pitches and good command of all 3 pitches to contact, which in a 1-inning role can get him in trouble just kind of randomly. But if you stretch him out, that doesn't tend to be the case. You're probably not going to have a whole bunch of innings of bad luck. You know, I mean, just all, you know, a bunch of ground balls that find holes.
Well, they used to, you know, Kevin Brown was another pitcher that fell victim to that on occasion because he was a hard sinker ball pitcher. He used to give up a lot of ground balls, a lot of soft ground balls, and occasionally he'd have the bad luck that they'd be finding holes or infield hits, and then a blooper would score some runs, and before you know it, he'd given up 3 or 4 runs early in the game. You go, how in the world did he give up 4 runs with the stuff he's got today?
From 3-0 to 3-2, and now wins out against Snyder.
Pretty defensive at bat for being held in the count like he was.
Well, lefties have only hit 195 against C.J. Wilson in C.J. Wilson's big league career. That's a nice job with C.J. I think just kind of remembering that and just fighting back, just saying, look, here, I know I started 3-0 on you, but here's my best stuff. See what you can do. And I guess as a final thought, too, Tag, you know, even if he doesn't get that efficiency thing right, you know, look at a lefty starter like Scott Kazmir. And it, you know, I mean, it was an issue, I guess, and still is, but he still wins ball games. Still a pretty valuable guy to have in your starting rotation at 18 pitches per inning. The 18 pitches per inning thing is not happening at all for CJ. In fact, the average is 12 right now, and that's exactly what he said he could do. No score, Rangers and the Blue Jays. $25 will be only $10 for opening week. To take advantage of this great offer, simply enter opening week as a coupon code when you go to TexasRangers.com. Well, the Rangers had a fantastic scoring opportunity last inning, but squandered it. They had second and third and nobody out. This game remains scoreless, and the Rangers still without a base hit with a runner in scoring position since opening day. The Rangers were 4 for 5 on opening day in that department. Ricky Romero fires in a strike to Elvis Andrus. One for 7 to start the year for Elvis after a spring training where he hit only .211. Soft line drive to second base. He's now 1 for 8. And that's one thing the Rangers have got to be disappointed about a little bit here, Tag. The 2 speed guys, Bourbon and Andrus, are now a combined 1 for 16. So we have not seen Rangers stolen bases yet.
No, it's been a slow start. It's the same old story that we talk about every year, first week of the season. When you start out 0 for 10, 1 for 12, it looks like the end of the world when it happens in the first 3 or 4 games of the season. If it happens in June or August, after you've got 350, 400 at bats, you don't even notice it. Unless you look in the notes and you go, oh yeah, didn't realize that. But beginning of the year, everything stands out. It's all the stats that we have. So it looks even worse when it happens at the beginning of the year. good part about it is all it takes is a 3 for 4 and a 2 for 4 the next day, and you're right back where you want to be. Get your average up in a hurry with a minimum amount of at-bats.
You saw that note on Bourbon, how he was just on fire down towards the end of spring training, and it has not carried over. Same for Michael Young. Michael's 1 for 8. And that last week of the Cactus League season, I mean, he was just hitting everything. Towards center, Vernon Wells has got it. Ricky Romero, known for the ground ball outs, gets a couple of balls in the air here. And a chance for Michael Young. We are in the home stretch for the 2010 census. It's not too late. Fill it out, mail it back. Mail back that census form today. Takes 10 minutes, Tag. Just, get her done.
I didn't even know that we'd filled ours out. My wife said, have we done that? She said, oh, yeah, I did that a long time ago. Good. Much more efficient than I am.
Wives are magic for that kind of stuff. How did that thing get done? Ricky Romero again. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast. Very strong. Good things last year already at 13 wins, 9 losses, and they just figured he could build off of that. There's one of those ground balls. Worm burner to short. And the Rangers are down in order. 6 straight retired by the L.A. native Ricky Romero. No score at the end of 3. The other L.A. native on the bump when we come back, C.J. Wilson. Taking their cuts out there in the Coca-Cola Sports Park. The Rangers with 149 steals last year. What's the team record, though, and when was it? Can't steal first base. Got to get on first, right? And that's been the problem for the Ranger base stealers here in this first series of 2010. C.J. Wilson, a Jose Bautista, who had just a ridiculous spring training, hitting about 440. They tweaked his stance a little bit. It has really paid off. And he lifts this one in the right center field. Nelly Cruz going back some more to the track. And at the Snapple sign, he's got it.
That's probably a good thing that was hit today and not opening day or maybe even yesterday. That ball carried okay. He hit it pretty well. But the way the wind affected the ball the first couple of days, that might have fared a little bit better than a fly ball out. That played true to form there, though. The other ones might have turned that into something less than a legitimate home run. But that was a very catchable ball, even though he hit it pretty well. Should have been caught.
Boy, a good sign here that C.J. Wilson can go after Adam Lind like this. We mentioned earlier that C.J. in his major league career is limiting lefties to about a 195 batting average against him. Lind, though, who at last check is left-handed, 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles against C.J. before today. So,
well, C.J. on that first pitch that he missed had all 3 components of a successful pitch: velocity, location, and movement.
Wow.
See you later. 3 straight, almost in the exact same spot.
That's a guy that has 7 home runs in 30 at-bats at this ballpark, Adam Lind, and he did not come close to touching it right there.
Well, those last 2 are basically right down the middle of the plate. The first one was in, and it was in because of the movement that it had that caused it to move that direction. The other 2 were a little bit more straight down the middle of the plate and straight by Adam Lind.
Now, if C.J. can master Vernon Wells now, that's been the toughest part for any Ranger pitcher in this series. Vernon with 3 home runs already.
Well, so far, it's early, but in the first 3 games, the most efficient pitcher as far as pitches per inning has been C.J. He's only thrown 43 pitches now in the 4th inning.
Three balls and a strike. Vernon Wells is the only American leaguer with 3 home runs right now. Garrett Jones of Pittsburgh has the 3 home run season going over in the National League. They're calling him G.I. Jones. Longtime minor league guy, broke through last summer. There's a walk to Vernon Wells. Second walk allowed by C.J.
That wasn't an intentional walk, but that was basically, in this lineup, the way this game is going, nothing to nothing. I'm not going to give him a pitch he can pull out of the ballpark. We've got a left-hand hitter in front of Wells, a left-hand hitter behind him. And even though I don't think C.J. said I'm going to try to walk him, he basically said I'm going to keep the ball out of the strike zone. And if he helps me out by swinging at a bad pitch, great. Otherwise, I'm willing to give him the walk and go after the next guy the way Vernon's been swinging the bat.
Hard stuff into Overbank. Toronto's one hit led off the ball game. Mike McCoy just kind of dumped one in the center. And now in the last 9 innings in this ballpark, Tag, including that spring training game that was played against Kansas City, that's the only hit CJ's allowed in 9 innings.
Yep. All of spring training, 14 hits, 25 innings.
CJ was lights out in this ballpark last year. In fact, historically so. The lowest ERA in a single season at this ballpark. Minimum 40 innings pitched. 0.67 was his home ERA. You're not supposed to be able to pitch in this ballpark, I thought. Rick Honeycutt had the old record, 0.91 at the old ballpark. .50 pitches right now total for the game. There's a 2-2 to Lyle Overbank. Popped into center, shallow. Bourbon racing. Bourbon's got it. And the shutout continues for Christopher John Wilson. 0-0 today here in Arlington. record for stolen bases in one season. Got to go back to 1978 when they had almost 200 of them. That's when Bump Wills had the 52 all by himself. Everybody talking like Julio Bourbon can steal 52 or thereabouts this year. Got a scoreless game going here this afternoon. After a 7-4 game yesterday, Ryan Garco, the former Cleveland Indian, who spent part of last year with the Giants, waived by the Mariners the last day of spring training. The Rangers just vacuumed him right up and said, we want that. That ended all the spring training intrigue about who would be the righty bat off the bench that could occasionally play some first base. We thought maybe Max Ramirez, maybe Matt Brown. Talk about Mike Lowell maybe being dealt over once and for all, but Garco was a guy who was rumored to be on his way here last year anyway. And the Rangers never did make that trade, but after all that time, here he is. And he's got in a much smaller sample, obviously, Vlad Guerrero-like numbers at this ballpark. And that helps. 18 runs batted in and 63 at bats here. High soaring fly ball towards center. Vernon Wells is there. That brings up Vlad Guerrero. Ricky Romero will now do battle with an 8-time All-Star. He has been called Vlad the Impaler. On this broadcast, El Diablo. But now, of course, we welcome and embrace El Diablo because of stuff like that. Line shot, left field, base hit. 2 for 2 today. 6 for 9 is a Ranger now. And he's a career .401 hitter at this ballpark. On your Ford leaderboard. On the list of 400 home run hitters, the guys that have accomplished that with fewer strikeouts were guys that played a long time ago.
The amazing thing about Guerrero, even compared to the hitters in that group, is those guys were very selective hitters, especially Ted Williams. They didn't swing at pitches out of the strike zone for the most part. If they swung at the same pitches Vlad swung at for their whole career,
yeah,
I guarantee you their strikeout totals would be a lot higher than Vladimir's. If a normal hitter, well, number one, a normal hitter couldn't stay in the lineup long enough to have that many at bats if he swung at the pitches Vladimir swung at. But if he did, he would probably strike out 5 times as many times as Guerrero. You'd strike out 250 or 300 times in a season if you swung at the same pitches he does. It's unbelievable that he makes contact with the pitches he makes contact with.
On appeal, it's a strike to Nelly Cruz. Well, you know, and just the mechanics of it as you check the swing or not swing by Cruz. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Vlad's got those just insanely long arms.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
he
can get to stuff that nobody else can.
That's true.
But again, Guerrero and Cruz are the two guys that are doing all the hitting for the Rangers so far. We can update that stat we gave you earlier. Guerrero and Cruz are a combined 10 for 17. Everybody else is 4 for 61. So thank you, Vlad, and thank you, Nelly. Getting away, and Vlad Guerrero saw it hit the dirt. He's gone. He is there at second base.
That's good base running. Good instincts. That ball was blocked very well by Molina. He kept it out in front of the plate. And the only reason Vlad got to second base was he didn't hesitate. He got a great jump. As soon as the ball was in the dirt, he's gone. Doesn't have a big lead. Doesn't run quite like he used to. But with good base running instincts like that, you can take the extra base and now be in position to score on a base hit.
Rolled towards short, and Guerrero takes off to third. Nelson Cruz is out. And that'll leave it to David Murphy. Well, the battle of the two LA-born lefties, C.J. Wilson and Ricky Romero. And what a battle it's been so far. Scoreless game, bottom fourth inning. What a real nice pitching matchup in Cincinnati today. Tough ballpark to have one of those, but it's St. Louis and the Reds tied 1-1 in the ninth. Bronson Arroyo on the mound for Cincinnati. Murphy gets himself in an 0-2 hole. Back in the second inning, the Rangers had second and third and nobody out. Could not get those guys around and in. Murphy down on strikes. And the two lefties are just going at it 0 for 0. We go to the fifth. Back after this. The C.J. Wilson experiment is now the C.J. Wilson reality, and it's going very well for him. Gave up a leadoff single to start the game to the seldom used Mike McCoy. And that's it. Rangers have not been able to crack Ricky Romero, though. So here we are scoreless in the fifth, and Mark McLemore joins us to talk a little baseball in this top of the fifth inning. Probably glad he's not having to swing the bat against these guys today. Both of them pitching pretty well.
Absolutely. These guys are they're getting the job done. It would not be a fun day right now.
Mac, what I was going to ask you, as a matter of fact, is if you're in this game on either team, both guys are pitching a similar type game. Midway through the game, what do you do when you go up to the plate? What's your game plan against guys that are pitching this type of a game?
Well, for me, my game plan would be to go up there, and if there's nobody on, or depending on what the situation is, I'm probably going to try and drop a bunt down just to try to get something going, get somebody on base, make him going, that pitcher go into the stretch instead of just the wind up, and see if that disrupts him in any way, shape, or form. So just to try to get something started, and my game was, the small ball game, so drop down a bunt.
Encarnacion with the second Toronto hit. He also walked back in the second inning. Well, and this is something new for CJ, too, because, you know, as a starter now, righties are getting a second at bat against him in a game. And here's Gonzalez smashing one into center field. It's going to be 2 on and nobody out. And you wonder about the possibility of a bunt now from Jose Molina.
I'd probably say that's probably a safe bet. Whenever you get in a situation like this where the hitter or the pitcher's not giving up a lot of hits, doesn't have a lot of base runners, when you finally do, you either start looking for a sacrifice bunt in this situation or even a hit and run. But with Molina coming up, he's a catcher, doesn't run very well, not notorious for handling the bat extremely well. So he's probably going to be dropping a bunt down right here.
He had a game last year where they sacked, bunt, and a grand slam in the same game. That's you know, kind of showing you're a complete player. The bunt is being defensed here anyway by the Rangers. They've got Garco in on the grass at first, Young at third. Wheel play didn't look to be on right there. Did you, I mean, just in general, Mac, did you like it when that wheel play was called? It gives you something to do.
Not at all. You know, in all the years that I played tag, you know, you tell me if you had a different experience. I've never seen it work.
No, it doesn't work very often. It's a nice theory,
right?
But in practicality, you don't see it work very often.
And just to, Mac, you can do it if you want to. With the wheel play, everybody in the infield just kind of rotates around, right? Shortstop goes, covers third, etc.
You're trying to get that runner at third base, so you've got first and third crashing. You've got shortstop going to third in front of the runner. You've got the second baseman going to first. So you're trying to get that play trying to get that runner at third to keep him off third base.
Yeah, the risk is you open up the whole infield. Really, all the hitter has to do. If you see that play, is you don't bunt the ball, you'll bunt right into an out. Just try to hit the ball on the ground up the middle, and you've got an automatic hit.
Well, maybe now the bunt is not going to be an option. It's 1 and 2. Though you never know. Cito Gaston, the manager for the Toronto Blue Jays, of course, his second run at being the manager of Toronto. Brought back to try and restore some former franchise glory. He's agreed to stay on through this season. Then he's going to take a job in the front office. At least that's the plan. Sometimes plans change, though, of course. Take a look at the last one. It's now 2 and 2.
Didn't look like that bad a pitch. Just a little bit high, a little bit out of the strike zone. Not by a lot, though.
Molina definitely a double play candidate because he does not run well. He's down on strikes. Off speed on 2 and 2.
4 strikeouts for CJ. Looked like a changeup away. Fooled Molina. Big out right there. Instead of moving the runners with 1 out, you get the out and they stay right there. Still have a double play in order. You got a young left-hand hitter at the plate.
And Josh, you were talking about earlier, this is that type of or the point in the game where CJ's starting to go. He's gone through the lineup once. He's starting to see those guys again. Now he's got to start throwing some of his other pitches that they haven't seen.
He's not going to break out the thimble, is he? That pitch he said he was working on a couple of springs ago.
The gyro?
Quite made it. The gyro ball.
I'll tell you what, if he could throw it for a strike when he wants to, break it out by all means.
He said the thimble was this hybrid changeup and knuckleball. And he called it the thimble because it's like a thing and it tumbles. So THI for thing, MBLE for tumble. He called it the thimble.
Well, I tell you what, that's because CJ's been down in the bullpen and relief pitchers have way too much time to think about things.
Now, the other side of that is the more you can get out there that we'll talk about and hitters will listen to.
Right.
Maybe some poor hitter's going to go up there going, I wonder when the symbol's coming. All it takes is one and you've been successful.
I won't say which pitcher it was, but somebody went up to him and said, hey, Siege, how much work on that pitch they called a strike?
Well, he's doing a good job working on it today.
Ooh, thought he had it.
That's got to be real close to the rectangle right there. That's a tough call for an umpire. Good overhead view of it. Right on the corner.
Wow.
Not quite. Number 3 says it was just off the strike zone. Good call by Greg Gibson.
Bearing down, trying to get Travis Snyder. Did he? Yes, he did. C.J. Wilson strikes him out.
Laid off it once, but he couldn't lay off it twice.
That's 5 strikeouts for Wilson. The last 2 have been with a couple of Blue Jays on.
That's just a great example of giving up a couple of hits and then saying, okay, I got to bear down right now, and coming up with 2 big strikeouts when you need them.
He's about to face McCoy for a 3rd time. And it was looked up that while CJ was in the bullpen, how incredibly rare it was that he would face a right-hander a 2nd time, let alone a 3rd. We'll get back to that in just a moment. We've got our Ask the Analyst question here for today. This is from Mark McLemore. Toughest pitcher you ever faced?
Wow, that would be any one of them that got me out. I would probably have to say a lot of them. Mark Gubiza was the toughest guy. I think, from my recollection, I think I was 1 for 30 off of Gooby. And that one time,
you pound that sinker into the ground?
Oh, it was a bowling ball. If I hit it, I broke a lot of bats. I do know that. But that one hit came after Gooby had about his 4th or 5th surgery. He was trying to come back. And then it was questionable because it was a ground ball off Mike Sweeney's glove that kicked off. And I think we were in Kansas City, so I believe the scorekeeper said, "Well, Max never got the hit off."
Gotta
let's
go
get
his way on this one.
Yeah, so and Gooby ended up coming over to cover first, and we just looked at each other and just laughed because he knew he got me out, and I knew I had no chance against that guy.
That's, by the way, how you ask the analyst. You can text it and join Mac on the postgame show as well.
Gubiza is now Victor Rojas' partner in the TV booth for the Angels.
One and 2 the count with 2 on, 2 out. And this crowd's starting to get behind C.J. Wilson.
Yes. Ooh, just a little bit inside. That's a good pitch, though. Hard slider right in out of the fist. If he swung at it, he would have broke his bat.
Tech, tell me if you see something different. But what I'm seeing from CJ is he's trying to make these hitters swing at his pitch. Yeah. He's not just throwing the ball down the middle. And as a pitcher, you want to challenge hitters, but there are times when you want them to hit your pitch as well.
You're exactly right. I agree with you. And McCoy just saw the slider right in on the fist. Then he sees a sinker down and away. He checked his swing on it. And if you're the hitter right now, you don't have a real good feel for what kind of pitch it's going to be, whether it's going to be in or out. He's just doing a real good job of pitching today. Not just out there coming in throwing hard as a setup reliever. He's figuring out a way to go after the hitters.
The 2-2. On the ground left side, Michael Young shuttles it to second base. C.J. Wilson keeps the shutout intact.
That was a curveball. So, in answer to the question, Mac, there's 3 pitches, 3 different pitches.
There you go.
See you, Mac. Thanks, buddy.
All right, babe, you got it.
All right. At Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Those are Fireworks Fridays. Tomorrow you can get $10 tickets and $5 parking. See the Rangers against Seattle. Go to TexasRangers.com. Enter Fireworks as the coupon code.
I got to make something happen, Josh. I'm going to make the call right here.
I think
if I'm capable or not, but you know, you just got to. Max says he was going to try to bunt to get something started. I'm going to try to make the call to see if I can't get something started.
Taylor Teagarden looking for his first hit of the year. If it happens to be a long ball and you end up looking like a genius, everybody wins.
That's a good point. That's what we're looking for. Win-win situations.
Right. We just want everybody to be happy.
Yeah, I do. No disappointment.
Well,
no, that's not out of here.
No, it's really not. But
at least it was headed in the right direction. It was fair anyway.
Yeah, good job with that.
How'd that work out?
Andres Blanco comes up next. Speaking of happy, we go to Jim Knox.
Thank you, Josh. Hey, look who we found here. Trailer Choir. Big time country recording band out of Nashville on hand. Just checking out the Rangers?
Yeah, we're in town. We've been visiting baseball parks. We're just up in Fenway, did the national anthem for the Yankees game and the Red Sox game, but we had to come see a Rangers game on this tour.
And enjoying the sunshine. Ryan, you got something for us?
We got a little rolling through the sunshine. We'll go rolling through the sunshine, you right here by my side, and surfing in the wind. We came to watch the Rangers win. There ain't no chance of rain, just good times on the way. Trailer Choir on the radio, free falling as we go. We can leave it all behind, go rolling through the sunshine.
There we go.
Wow.
Very nice. Little clap here in the sand.
That was great.
Good seeing you. All right. Tomorrow they go to St. Louis. Check out the Cardinals. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Josh.
Well, and appropriately, we go right to an at-bat from Elvis. Andrews comes up. Thank you, Trailer Choir. They've actually got a song tag, I kid you not, called Rockin' the Beer Gut.
Wow.
We did not hear that one.
No, we didn't.
Told that the more stately looking gentleman there, the kind of larger guy, apparently part of their shtick, he can do the worm tag.
Oh, wow.
Get on the ground and just like you do.
Really didn't know what the worm was.
Also
I know what a worm is, but I don't know what doing the worm is.
You never saw Electric Boogaloo back in the day? You weren't in the breakdance movies?
Not quite, nope.
All right, worm lessons for tag in between innings.
That's my goal in the offseason, learn how to do the worm.
Well, we set small goals, and we build up from there. Elvis Andrews grounding out. All right, Tag's getting on the dance floor, and we'll come back for the 6th inning in just a moment. No score, Texas and Toronto.
movement, change up on the outside corner, slider down and away. And I think what that shows, he struck out 5. It's been a little bit of everything. That's what Mark McLemore was talking about. If you're the hitter, you really can't narrow him down to a certain pitch in a certain location today because he's liable to throw anything.
Yep, you just got to play guess along with CJ.
The last pitch was a good curveball right on the outside corner, followed by a changeup on the outside corner. This one could very well be his 93-mile-an-hour fastball right in on the fist. And when you got that going for you, and Ricky Romero's got the exact same thing going, you have games like this where there's only 6 hits and no runs scored. That's exactly it. 90 miles an hour right in on the fist. Ricky Romero's pitching a very similar game. Two similar pitchers.
Only one of them, though, is working on a novel and trying to get a movie deal done. And that would be CJ. Novelist, guitarist, filmmaker, chef, philosopher. That ball, getting down. That's a base hit.
Yeah, that was one of the few pitches today that really wasn't a good pitch. That was a high changeup. You know, he kind of busted him in and then just left that pitch up and out over the plate. That pitch is supposed to be about a foot lower and about 8 inches more outside. Instead, it got the middle of the plate, just spun up there, and that was a pretty good pitch to hit right there.
Well, we were talking earlier about CJ not facing right-hand batters for even a second time, really at all, the last several years. And obviously, as a starter now, he's going to be facing them 3, maybe 4 times in a game. So it's that matter of who makes the adjustment to whom.
The better your stuff, the better you're equipped to do that. And the better assortment of pitches, the better off you are.
That ball getting by Garco, who was diving after it. Brian Butterfield holds the runner at third, and this is going to be the toughest one for CJ to navigate out of yet. Runners at the corners, nobody out, and the hottest hitter on the team coming up, the cleanup man, Vernon Wells. Garco almost found a way to knock it down, too.
That's another mistake that CJ made. That pitch, you can see the catcher's glove on the outside corner. Instead, that pitch came back over the plate on the inside half of the plate. So the changeup before it got all of the plate, and that pitch was supposed to be away. Instead, it came right over the inner half of the plate. A good spot for a guy like Lind to pull the ball into right field. CJ in that situation is trying to keep the ball away so he can't hit the ball to the right side and move the runner over. Instead, the pitch came back, missed his spot, and gave him the pitch that he could do it with.
And that was to Adam Lind, who, remember, he had struck out on 3 pitches back in the 4th inning. That ball blocked by Teagard and keeps the game scoreless for now. Wells trying to become the first Blue Jay ever to homer in the first 3 games of a season. He had 2 home runs last night. Close, but no. Wells also scored 4 runs in the game yesterday, tying a career high. Had to get that one in there, and he did. Similar in location to that one right before it. Boy, one was a strike and one was a ball.
No, and actually, they were both strikes. One just didn't get called a strike.
Changing up. 2-2 to Vernon Wells.
You look at the location of the changeup. That's the spot where he was trying to throw the changeup to Bautista. Instead, the pitch was a foot higher, Bautista got good wood on it, led off the inning with a double. Chances are, if he made that same pitch to Bautista, he would have missed it too.
He struck out Vernon Wells.
That's some pitching right there. Actually threw him 4 strikes.
Right.
Looked like a cutter, maybe a slider that he kept down. Ball just zipped in on Wells. Good pitch. Boy, that's some great pitching right there. Now you've got a left-hand hitter up there. Maybe get a ground ball, turn a double play. He's had 6 strikeouts. Maybe you go for your 7th strikeout right here. Keep that guy right at third base.
Overbay 0 for 2 today. Infield is a double play depth. And he's swinging right away. I would think if you're a lefty, you don't want to get behind C.J. Wilson.
That would be my play, and I'd go up there and look for the first good pitch I saw and swing at it. I'm not going up there to take a strike, that's for sure. I don't think you would in this situation anyway.
A lot of room in right center here for Overbay. They got him shaded to go the other way. And here is C.J. ahead of him 0-2. So how does he finish him off? What are you looking for?
I'm either going to bust him up and in with a good fastball, or I've got 4 chances to throw him a strike or get him to swing at a pitch. I'm going to try to throw him sliders down and away, get him to chase one out of the strike zone.
Oh, barely got a piece. That fastball.
Yep, you can see Taylor gave the sign for a fastball. The number 1 pointed away, fastball away, put the glove there. CJ hit it, and Overbay was just able to check his swing and spoil it.
Can you double down, do it again, or do you want something else?
I'd throw him a slider right now. Make him think it's the same pitch, and it's going to go farther outside, and swing at it.
He swings, he pops it foul.
That one didn't get quite as far outside as CJ wanted it, but that was the idea for it. Throw him a slider again and make sure it. You see, 4 got a little bit of the plate. If he throws number 4 on the other side of number 3, where it's out of the strike zone, maybe you get him to swing at it. Throw him a curveball right here.
He got him.
Fastball.
Fastball to finish him off. 7 strikeouts for CJ.
I'm sure Overbay in that situation has to be concerned about the possibility of an off-speed pitch out of the strike zone. Instead, he gets a good fastball, kind of up and in. He threw it right by him. Well, CJ gave up 2 hits to start the 5th and struck out the next 2 hitters. 2 hits to start the 6th and struck out the next 2 hitters.
It's the ability that he has, and I haven't seen many other Rangers with this ability, that Zen-like ability, just to kind of block everything out, stay real calm, and just do what you got to do.
I agree. That's exactly what he's doing here.
He's done it.
That's some pitching right there. 1st and 3rd, nobody out, infield back.
C.J. Wilson wanted this opportunity. He got it, and he is nailing it. No score. Jackpot worth $300 and dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Joe Reed of Ennis. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. Dan Dykert in the house today, watching on as the Blue Jays and the Rangers progress scoreless in the bottom of the sixth inning. And the two lefties, Romero and Wilson, are just doing everything they can to prevent any scoring at all in this one. C.J. Wilson in the fifth and again in the sixth just had to get tough, and he absolutely was able to do that.
That's Kurt Dykert's brother, Dan. Kurt hates his brother, Dan. You know why?
Why?
Because he beats him in golf every single time they go.
Well, Kurt.
So I hate Dan, too. I don't even know Dan, but I hate him, too. Because if I went, he could beat us both together. Like if we played scramble, the two of us, he'd still beat us.
Why don't y'all just get better at golf?
That's a very good question.
I'm just throwing it out there. Then you could like
That's
them.
a solution to the problem.
Yeah.
Get better. Now I know what to do.
The simple solutions
golfing all this time without really a purpose. Now I know what it is. Get better.
Don't hate the player.
We hate you, Dan.
I hope you find your special purpose, Tag. I do. Top of the order for the Rangers in the bottom of the sixth, and maybe this is a good place to get it going. Julio Borbon, his third opportunity, lifts it to center field. There have been a lot of fly balls from Julio so far. He's still looking for his first hit in the regular season. He had a ton of them in spring training.
Yeah, Julio's going to be fine. You know, he's off to a slow start, but that kid can play and he can hit. And it's just a matter of time. He'll get it going.
Well, same for Michael Young. 1 for 9 doesn't really worry you about Michael Young. Just looking for somebody to just drive the ball off Romero, though.
There have not been many Ranger balls hit hard today. Michael hit the ball. Let's see, Vladimir had the line shot.
Yeah.
In the left field for a base hit. That's been the hardest hit ball.
Well, the one extra base hit was that little bloop shot from Nelly Cruz, the hustling double.
Yeah, soft base hit to right field.
Well, and I'm sorry, Tag, just back to C.J. Wilson for a moment. Giving up a leadoff hit in the first, giving up 2 leadoff hits in the fifth, and then again in the sixth. But it's still 0-0. That is some fancy stepping.
It's pretty amazing to watch the two guys pitching today. They're not the exact same thing, but very, very similar in the types of pitches, the location of their pitches.
Reminiscent of the game yesterday between the Tigers and the Royals, the two former Fort Worth Cats hooked up. Luke Hochevar and Max Scherzer went 0-0 deep into the game. Some real good pitching performances around baseball yesterday. Highland Park native Chris Young, 6 innings of 1-hit baseball for San Diego.
Yeah, there were a number of starting pitchers, more than a couple, that gave up only 1 hit. Rich Harden was one.
That's right. Here we go. Michael Young draws a walk.
First walk of the day for Romero.
Only 78 pitches for Ricky Romero. Boy, there are LA guys all over the place now. Ryan Garco against Ricky Romero now. Story goes about Romero, Tag, that when he came home from his LA preschool one day when he was like 3, he had a note from his teacher pointing out that young Ricky was using both hands to doodle and draw. And the teacher recommended picking one for him and just kind of helping him stick with it. And luckily for young Ricky, his dad was a baseball fan and figured, well, if I got the choice, I'm going to make little Ricky a lefty. Now, obviously, you got more staying power if you're going to be a pitcher as a left-hander. Garco also from L.A. In fact, went to the same L.A. high school as our good friend Steve Buechele. Wish Boo good luck. His Frisco Rough Riders get going. The minor league season starts today. You Frisco fans are in for a treat. with Boo at the helm this year. That ball popped in a shallow right. And Bautista will lock it up.
It's a little tougher right now for Romero to pitch around Vladimir, because if he does, you put a couple of men on for Nelly Cruz, who's swinging the bat just as well as Guerrero is. And so you make a mistake the way Guerrero's swinging the bat right now, it could be 2-0 in a hurry.
Well, I'm going to put in the call here for Vlad.
Good.
The Romero-Guerrero showdown here, and Vlad is looking to become a 700 hitter for the season. He's got the 700 batting average. He's 7 for 10. Michael Young, after a little hesitation, goes to third. Vlad Guerrero to second base, and he's out. Well, that's a shame. Trying to take that extra base, make it second and third for Nelly Cruz. Romero is out of the inning. Texas and by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. The Blue Glove lefty, C.J. Wilson, in his first regular season start in 5 years. No runs on 5 hits right now. Ricky Romero, no runs on 4 for Toronto. Vlad Guerrero trying to sneak into second base after singling, and Michael Young taking third. Thrown out on that last play, and Nelly Cruz never did get to swing the bat. Got the bottom third of the Blue Jay order. CJ starts with a breaking ball, strike 1 to Gonzalez, as O'Day will get loose for the Rangers. Reaching out for it is Gonzalez. A flare to right field, and there's Nelson Cruz. Jose Molina comes up next. First, we go to Jim Knox.
All right, time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Robbie from Denton, because Robbie hasn't missed a Ranger game so far this season. It's been to 3 straight games, and he broke out 3 new chants today.
3 new chants this season. The first one's for Vladimir Guerrero. El Diablo. The second one's for Nelson Cruz. Nelly. And the third one was starting early this year, also for Nelson Cruz. MVP.
There we go. All right. Nice, Robbie. Here you go. Progressive bag, a hat, and also a T-shirt. Keep those cheers going. There we go.
Great fans. Thank you, Jim.
I love that enthusiasm.
Nelson Cruz off to a nice MVP kind of start anyways. 4 for 9. Vlad Guerrero is 7 for 10.
Boy, he smoked that ball up the middle, too. If he just got that up a little bit, he'd have lined it out of here. Change up. 2 swings and misses. Molina's having a tough time today against CJ.
Yep, got a chance for the hat trick here for a third strikeout.
Shaking his head. 2 change-ups away. He's just fighting that fastball off. Not a good feeling for a hitter right now. You just don't have a good feel.
Now, CJ, last time he pitched here at this ballpark, that exhibition game against Kansas City 6 days ago, we were looking at all these zeros just like this.
Yep.
Got the lefty Snyder on deck. And pitch number 95 of the day coming now from C.J. Wilson. It's a good one to strike out Molina.
Same pitch he struck Vernon Wells out on.
C.J. Wilson with a career best 8 strikeouts.
Just doing a superb job of keeping the ball right where he wants it. A little slider down. Threw him a couple of change-ups that break the other way, down in a way that he missed to start the at-bat.
There's a breakdown of balls and strikes. Both the starters now in the last couple of days have 8 strikeouts. Harden had his and 3 in the third yesterday.
Boy, the movement on that fastball in on the fist. Just a very nice thing to watch.
And he's right ahead of Snyder 0-2. So even though O'Day is loose in the bullpen, they're giving CJ a chance to get it to the 7th inning stretch and hope that the Rangers can get him a run in the bottom of the inning.
You could see CJ tap his chest as if to say, my fault. He didn't throw that. He got away with it. It was a changeup that or a slider maybe that fooled Snyder. He got away with it, but he just didn't throw it there where he wanted to.
That's 9 for C.J. Wilson.
Kind of putting the finishing touches on it right there.
Couldn't be going much better in his first start in 5 years' time. The SoCal lefties, Wilson and Romero, shutting everybody down in this one. We are scoreless to the bottom of the 7th. There's your Southwest Airlines game summary. A 5-hitter for CJ, a 4-hitter for Ricky Romero. Boy, a lot of first pitch strikes here from both guys.
It's been, if you like pitchers duels, you don't see them much better than this. 2 lefties, very similar, just pitching their hearts out today. Both of them have pitched out of some jams. The Rangers had 2nd and 3rd, nobody out in the 2nd inning. Blue Jays had 1st and 3rd, nobody out last inning. Both pitchers pitched out of it.
Yeah, the Rangers will be kicking themselves for not getting those guys around and in back in the 2nd. The previous career high for C.J. Wilson in strikeouts, he got 6 Blue Jays 5 years ago in a game. He's got 9 Blue Jays today. Nelson Cruz checking his swing, and last night going dead central. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. This was one pitch after Vlad Guerrero had gone deep. Well, Ricky Romero is just about as tough as C.J. Wilson today.
And he threw him some sliders that he laid off of. And then he threw him a changeup. Again, changeup that C.J. and Romero are throwing today tail away from right-hand hitters. The slider comes in.
Let's quickly go to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, if you'll remember last season, I earned the dubious distinction of Twitter girl. Now I'm upgrading, hopefully, to website woman. Here to remind you about FoxSportsSouthwest.com. You can find all the highlights from the University of Texas Longhorns spring game. Also, an exclusive one-on-one interview with the new head coach at Texas Tech, Tommy Tuberville. Also, if you'd like to ask the analyst, you can pick the brain of Jim Sundberg or Mark McLemore by texting 57538, keyword Rangers TV.
Thank you, Emily. David Murphy sprinting towards second base as the ball rolls away. That's a break for Texas. They get that runner at second and just one out. First hit of the year is a double for David Murphy.
A good try by Bautista. He's actually had a little bit of luck that he kept it in front of him. If it kicked over his glove, might have been a triple. Good job of hitting right there, though, on a pretty good pitch to hit. But you got to take advantage of it. There haven't been many pitches like that for the Ranger hitters today. And once Bautista saw that he couldn't catch it in the air, he did knock it down, which at least kept him off third base.
It is so unlikely in this ballpark to have a game get through 7 innings with no score, not to mention get through 8 innings. In fact, in the last 12 years, Tom, twice a game has gone into the 9th scoreless. And one of those times it was a couple of lefties, the Rangers against the Blue Jays. That was 10 years ago. That was David Wells against Doug Davis.
Wow.
And that one went scoreless all the way into the 10th inning. Teagarden is short. That's the game that Rusty Greer finally won with a single. We'll see if this one keeps on as scoreless or if the Rangers can break through right now.
Someone's got to get a hit with men in scoring position in this game sooner or later, so might as well be right now.
Blanco looks like he's being called back. Andrews to follow whoever's about to hit.
We've got Hamilton, Davis, Trainer, and Arias are the extra men.
Boy, and what a shot of confidence this would be for Josh Hamilton. He has struck out in 5 straight at-bats. 7 of his 8 at-bats this year. And we'll have to find out after the game if this was a Kurt Gibson kind of deal where he went to the skipper and said, hey, I'm ready if you want me. Or the manager just said, you know what, I got a hunch. It's time for Josh. Hamilton did not face Romero last year. This will be the first time they're staring each other down.
That's the one to lay off of right there. You wouldn't know it by today's game, but according to the Blue Jay press clips, left-hand hitters hit .297 against Romero last year.
That might be part of Wash's thinking right here.
Could be.
Ball getting away. Here comes David Murphy.
Well, it wasn't a base hit with men in scoring position, but we'll take it.
Shades of that opening day of 20-odd years ago we were talking about, where the Rangers won 1-0 on a wild pitch from Goose Gossage.
Well, you could see Molina, pretty good defensive catcher. He didn't do a good job of blocking that, though. He put his glove down and tried to slap the ball into the ground to catch it. Went off his glove instead of putting the palm up, going down on both knees and blocking the ball. With a man on third base, you just have to do a better job of blocking that ball. That wasn't that bad a pitch. That's one that really shouldn't have been a wild pitch.
And the timing of it is exquisite, because if indeed C.J. Wilson is done, now he's eligible for a win.
Yeah. Got Neftali Felice warming up out in the bullpen.
Breaking ball inside to Hamilton. So the Rangers still don't have a hit with a runner in scoring position. Don't have an RBI today, but they've got the lead. Wave and a miss, 3-2. The Rangers had only 5 successful pinch hits all year in 2009. As we talked about during the broadcast yesterday, they didn't have the occasion to pinch hit that much. Hamilton draws a walk. Jansen was up in the bullpen just a little while ago for Toronto, and Cito Gaston's on his way out. Romero just shy of 100 pitches, and boy, he obviously pitched well enough to win today. But a wild pitch, and as you said, Tag, a veteran catcher, Jose Molina, known for his defense, just unable to help him out when it counted.
Yeah, that was a blockable ball, and I'm sure Jose would be the first one to say it when he goes back and watches it. I think he thought it was going to be a little higher and he'd be able to catch it. Turned out he just kind of stabbed at it, went off his glove for a wild pitch.
Cito Gaston will stay with Romero for now. The hitter's going to be Elvis Andrus.
Well, the right-hand hitter coming up, that really looked like it was going to be a pitching change.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he stayed with Romero. He must have gone out and been satisfied by the conversation.
Andrews trying to provide some insurance. Lays off and takes a strike. Another one down in the dirt. I would think you've got to have a catcher that you're very comfortable with. Ricky Romero throws everything down. And you got to have the confidence to bounce one every once in a while and be assured that your catcher is going to be there for you.
Yeah, both catchers have done a good job today. Taylor Teagarden's facing the same situation with CJ. Ball's moving in all directions, trying to keep it down. You know, going into the game, you're going to have to block a lot of balls. And several balls in the dirt that have been blocked by both catchers with a man on third base today. Rangers were fortunate that one did get by Molina, but both catchers have done a real good job today under those circumstances.
Outside to Elvis. And again for C.J. Wilson today. Every time he got into trouble, he found a way to pitch out of it. He struck out 9 this afternoon. Five hits, 2 walks. Three-one pitch. Now 3-2. Tomorrow, Seattle's in town. It'll be Colby Lewis's first start of the year. Jason Vargas, another lefty, going for the Mariners. They lost the game yesterday when Milton Bradley, who had homered earlier, dropped a fly ball right on the warning track. So Seattle starts out 1-2. Oakland's in first place at 2-1. The Angels are 1-2. There was a point last night when every AL West team and every AL Central team was 1-1. Every single one of them. Wave and a miss, and Ricky Romero, though he threw that wild pitch, is out of the inning. But boy, that wild pitch cost him. It's the only run of the game so far. Now C.J. Wilson will look to the bullpen to keep it 1-0. Doing more on defense, and C.J. Wilson doing it himself, really, with some help from Taylor Teagarden on this first pitch. Blocked with runners at first and third.
Yeah, first and third, no outs, and the hottest hitter in the league up there, Vernon Wells. Two sinkers right on the outside corner. One called a strike, one called a ball, then a changeup in the same location, and then a slider going in a different direction. Struck out Wells. That's first and third and nobody out. C.J. ended up pitching out of that jam, but that was a great example of some tremendous pitches to a good hitter to strike him out.
I think the other thing that we should absolutely point out, though, again, because, Jose Molina did not block one down in the dirt, and that's why the Rangers scored the run. Taylor Teagarden, with that runner at third, did block the one in the dirt and kept the game scoreless. Now it's up to Neftali Feliz to keep it 1-0. Top of the order for Toronto. Mike McCoy gets the start today because Aaron Hill has a tight hamstring. And the final line on C.J. Wilson, boy, it was beautiful. 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and a career-high 9 strikeouts.
There were a lot of clutch outs with men on base where he had to pitch out of jams, and I think the best pitching CJ did was when he was in trouble today.
Yep.
He had first and second, nobody out. First and third, nobody out. And the way he went about it after that, we got 4 strikeouts in those innings, was just tremendous.
Neftali is back to square it at 2-2. New first baseman Chris Davis in for Garco now. Joaquin Arias takes over for Blanco, who was pinch hit for. Hamilton pinch hit, so it's Arias at second, and Hambone stays in the game in left. Feliz strikes him out.
Nice and easy. Tuned it up there at 97 to get that strikeout.
But it looks like he's just throwing, 80, 85, and it's just so free and easy, and bang, it's 97.
Yep. Tuned it up about 3 miles an hour. Earlier pitches were 94, and that one had a little extra on it.
The Rangers now have struck out in double digits in the back-to-back games. They had 10 strikeouts yesterday, but also walked 10. Difference today, they've got their 10 strikeouts, but they've only walked 2. And Feliz, who has been anointed the 8th inning guy by Ron Washington. There's something besides the fastball. That was nasty.
That was a frisbee.
The fans were oohing and eyeing over that. Check this out.
Watch that slider. You know, like I hit something halfway and changed direction.
Now the free and easy heat. 98 miles an hour. Bautista lucky to get a piece. Feliz, I think, learned a lesson the other day. You can, throw a couple of fastballs in the exact same place to a guy like Vernon Wells, but try to throw it to that precise spot for a 3rd straight time. It's not going to do anything for you. Got to change it up a little bit like that.
Well, he's geared up, and you have to hit the 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and takes a little bit off that slurve. And even though he didn't get it down where he wanted it, the net effect was exactly what you're looking for.
Now here's the real danger part of this Toronto batting order. Lind and Wells moving on deck. Seven home runs in now 32 at-bats lifetime in this ballpark for the Indiana native, Adam Lind. Held in check so far today.
Well, that's a good swing right there. Fortunately, it was away from him a little bit. I think even if he made contact with that, put it in play, would have hit it off the end of the bat. Not a big swing, though. No doubt what he's trying to do.
But he's not doing it yet.
A little off. That's pretty good when you throw an 89-mile-an-hour changeup.
Right.
The key is the pitch differential. So from 98 to 89, you get the 9-mile-an-hour difference. It's not very often you'll see a guy way out in front of an 89-mile-an-hour pitch, though.
Bye-bye.
99. That's the Neftali we love.
Boy, thanks for playing the game. He strikes out the side, bottom of the 8th coming. Mariners this weekend. Sunday, the first 20,000 fans get that Ian Kinsler 30-30 cap. Compliments of Fox Sports Southwest. TexasRangers.com to get your tickets, or you can call right now, 972-RANGERS. Ian will not be off the DL before that cap giveaway. In fact, the hope is he can get ready within a week or so. And earlier today, you see Ian working out. It's the side-to-side that they need to see him get to. And he is not quite ready yet to really get that going. Casey Jansen is the new pitcher after Ricky Romero gave Toronto 7 high-quality innings today. Only thing he did wrong, he didn't really do that wrong. He bounced one, but Jose Molina couldn't stop it from getting by him. I was with a runner at third, and that's why it's 1-0 Rangers.
Well, the only guy in the lineup that really gave Romero trouble was Vladimir Guerrero, who had 2 hard-hit singles. Other than that, there weren't many balls hit hard. A nice cutter right there.
Bourbon begins his season 0 for 12.
Well, the Blue Jays have been talking about how well Jansen worked in spring training. All his pitches working, pinpoint control. Certainly looked pretty good in that at bat.
Rangers closer is up, Frankie Francisco, after a tremendous 8th inning. Doesn't get any better than that. Neftali Feliz had to go after the top third of the Toronto order. He struck out everybody. And the Rangers today, boy, what a difference a day makes. Huh? Yesterday it was 10 walks, 10 strikeouts. Today it's 2 walks, 12 strikeouts.
I like that ratio a little bit better.
Yeah. From 1-1 to 6-1. Only 1 hit so far this year for Michael Young, but it was huge. It's the one that kick-started the rally in the 9th inning on opening day. Boy, the 9-1-2 part of the Rangers order right now, Tag, and those are 3 guys you just don't worry about. But they are 2 for 31. Young, Bourbon, and Andrews.
Well, hopefully Frankie will be able to come in and save this game, and the Rangers will end up winning 2 out of their first 3 games with that statistic you just mentioned, knowing that it's just a matter of time before it all turns around.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to tell you that your 9-1-2 guys would have 2 hits total in 3 games, but you could win 2 of the 3,
yeah, you'd be pretty happy with
take that every time. First at bat for Chris Davis. He came on defensively last inning. Well, 1-0 games are so rare in this ballpark. The Rangers only won 1-0 game last year. It was against Toronto. We'll see if the Rangers can pump up from 1-0 here with a couple outs in the bottom of the 8th. Vlad Guerrero, who is 7 for 10. He's on deck. Let's say Vlad has made himself quite at home in his new digs. Of course, he always put his feet up on the furniture here anyway. Highest career batting average in this ballpark of anybody, over 400. Outside, ball 4. And then a chance for Vlad as we check some scores, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Johnny Gomes had a walk-off winner for Cincinnati, his first home run of the year. The Reds over the Cardinals 2-1. And the Dodgers were not about to be swept in Pittsburgh. They beat the Buccos today 10-2. KC leads Detroit. And Seattle and Oakland scoreless in the 3rd inning. Ooh, Vlad Guerrero geared up and is down 0-1.
Be in traction for about 2 weeks if I ever took a swing like that.
Well, remember, Vlad had the ribcage injury last year, tried to play through it. You can see why he would develop a ribcage injury. He does not get cheated. An appreciative crowd of 14,707 watching Vlad and the Rangers today. Bounced it up there. Again, it gets away from Molina. He takes his time getting after it. Chris Davis rounding second and holding.
Very few people are going to block that pitch. That ball bounced outside and way in front of the plate.
But Vlad sometimes swings it, though.
Yeah, he might hit it on a hop. That ball there, that's... I don't think anybody can block. Well, somebody could block that ball, but it's not easy. If that one gets by you, you just say, there's not much I could do on that one.
That's pretty much been the crux of the Ranger offense today, is advancing on wild pitches. Will it be enough for C.J. Wilson and his greatness today? 9 strikeouts, no runs for C.J. in 7 innings. And the guys that he used to hang out in the bullpen with, and now they've got to bring it on in for him. It would be his first win ever as a starter in the big leagues. It gets away. Molina has to throw him out, and does so. Rendering Vlad 7 of 11 for the young season. All right, trying to keep it 1-0. On to the 9th we go.
After the game for the post-game edition of Rangers Live, Mark McLemore as well as Jim Sundberg will be here with me for perspective and analysis. Emily Jones will be in the Rangers clubhouse. You won't want to miss what C.J. Wilson has to say about his stellar season debut here this afternoon, plus Ron Washington's comments as well. It's all coming up right after the game, but for now, we send it back to Josh and Tom, guys.
All right, thank you, Dana. And here is Frankie Francisco trying to back this car into the garage and give the Rangers a 1-0 win in front of the home crowd today. Vernon Wells stands in his way, and Vernon Wells already with 3 home runs in the first couple games of the year. Frankie pitched in the game and actually got credit for the win on that exciting home opener on Monday. Young guards the line at third. And Frankie in with a strike.
One thing Frankie showed in his first appearance when he got the win in that game was he used all 3 of his pitches: fastball, curveball, and his splitter. That strike was a splitter right there.
Wallop to left field, and Vernon Wells having some kind of April, folks. This game's tied.
He threw him another changeup, and after seeing the one before it, he wasn't fooled by it. He was right on it.
He has just become the first Blue Jay ever to homer in the first 3 games of a season. And he does it in his hometown. C.J. Wilson will get a no decision.
You can throw back-to-back changeups, but boy, you're asking for it when they're number 2 and number 3. This one's right in the middle of the strike zone.
So the blown save, and now a 1-1 tie. The Blue Jays had just gotten done striking out 5 straight at bats. 2 from C.J. Wilson, 3 from Neftali Feliz. And Vernon Wells has once again spoiled the party. Overbay now turns on one and drills it down the other side and barely foul. And Frankie's got to get himself together here.
Yeah, the main thing Frankie's got to work on right now in this outing is his location. He's just hitting the hitter's spot of the strike zone right now.
That pitch moving in to a lefty, and a guy like Overbay can turn on that.
Wells took the one changeup. It was on the inside part of the plate, inside corner. Might have been a little bit too inside for him. But then, you know, he'd seen that 82-mile-an-hour pitch, and then the next one was 82 miles an hour, and it was right down the middle of the plate. Exactly where Frankie didn't want to throw it, especially to Vernon, as hot as he is right now.
It's amazing how one guy can carry a team through a whole series. We saw that with Adam Lind here last year. It's been Vernon Wells in this one. We talked about it yesterday. All the eyes of Blue Jay fans are dead on Vernon Wells. I mean, they're asking him to carry this team this year, and for the first 3 games, those are indicative of how this is going to go. Man, what a bounce back for Vernon Wells. Overbay to left field. That ball taking off, and Josh Hamilton is back on it at the wall. He couldn't get it. And it's going to roll for a while. Overbay, he doesn't have great speed, is going to try for third. The throw from Hamilton is too late. The go-ahead man is at third base with nobody out.
Frankie in this outing doesn't have that little extra on his fastball. His fastball is 91, 92 miles an hour, which is okay if you're making good pitches with it. But without the little extra on the velocity, those pitches are catching a little bit too much of the strike zone.
Overbay averages 1 triple a year. And there's the first one. We're always so guarded about a Hamilton running into walls, too. That's the first time he's done that in 2010. Infield comes in. Here is Encarnacion. And what's been a game so far of the Rangers making tough pitches when they've needed to. Doesn't get any tougher than this. Go-ahead man at third base, nobody out, 9th inning. To right field. Nelly Cruz lines it up. He will step and he will fire. Here it comes. Teagarden couldn't hold it. It's 2-1 Toronto.
That was a good strong throw, but it had to bounce a little earlier or go a little bit farther. That in-between bounce is such a tough play for the catcher, to catch it on the bounce knowing you got contact and you've got to make the tag. If it bounces a little bit further out in front of him, he catches it on an easy hop. If it's in the air, you catch it easily. But this in-between hop is a tough one to catch and block and make the tag.
Cruz, who led the Rangers in outfield assists last year, almost had another.
Yeah, it was a great throw. Just a tough one to handle.
Homer triple sack fly. Yeah, that ball just got on Taylor in a hurry. Raked into left field. That's a base hit for Gonzalez. He did that to Frankie on Monday, too. Digging for second and making it. So they've got everything except a single in this inning. Homer triple double. Remember, Frankie Francisco had 25 saves last year.
Again, it's the same old story in this outing for Frankie. He's just hitting the part of the strike zone that you don't want to hit. It's what basically we saw for 7 innings from C.J. Wilson and Ricky Romero. Just pitches were not going in that area of the plate. That's why the hitters weren't hitting the ball hard for 7 innings. They weren't getting any good pitches to hit. But unfortunately, in this half inning, Frankie has missed his location enough that the Blue Jays have taken advantage of it.
The 2 Darrens will get up in the bullpen. John Buck is going to pinch hit for Molina. The day couldn't end quick enough for Molina. He had struck out 3 times. Blocked by Teagarden. Jason Frazier has gotten up in the bullpen, and remember, he had a real tough time holding a 1-run lead on Monday. Looks like they will turn to him again.
What the Rangers have to make sure is that it is a 1-run lead and not more than a 1-run lead. Still only 1 out.
Well, you got Nelly Cruz, or excuse me, David Murphy coming up, and yeah, you want 2-1, not 3-1 for sure.
And when Frankie's throwing well, that splitter, off-speed pitch, changeup, whatever you want to call it, that he throws usually drops. Today it's just coming in pretty straight. And when you get that extra movement, it makes it a tougher pitch to hit.
I misspoke, Tag. I forgot Arias now in Murphy's spot. That'll be the number 6 spot in the order coming up in the inning. Another block by Taylor Teagarden. So it will be Cruz, then Arias, then Teagarden. And Hamilton would be your 4th hitter in the inning, which is kind of interesting. Just not there for Frankie right now. You know what's funny about it, Frankie, even last year, it was 25 saves, Tom. He allowed no runs to score in every one of them. He gave up a batch of runs in every one of his losses. All 25 of his saves were nice, big, clean zeros. So it's like, you know, when it rained, it poured for Frankie. He wouldn't come in when it was 5-2 and your final would be 5-3 or 5-4. He'd just keep it 5-2, or it would end up being 7-5 the other way. Double plays in order here. Boy, that would help. And what a darn shame for C.J. Wilson. First start in 5 years, a hard-earned, well-earned first start for C.J. He'll get many more, but he'll get a no decision this afternoon. The Blue Jays have stranded 6. Need to strand a couple more. Ten balls against 9 strikes in this inning. And Frankie still has just the 1 out. Check swing to strike. Top of the order on deck, that's Mike McCoy. Right now, young Travis Snyder, who struck out in the 5th and the 7th. The game tomorrow is at 7:05. Colby Lewis for the Rangers, as the Seattle Mariners will move on into town. If you want to see Felix Hernandez pitch, that's Saturday afternoon. Matt Harrison to oppose King Felix. And Scott Feldman for the Rangers on Sunday. Missing away, 2-2.
A much better location, a little bit of movement, just didn't quite catch the corner.
A lot of room in right center here for Snyder. They figure his two-strike approach, he's going to hit one the other way. He is down on strikes instead. "13 Ranger strikeouts this afternoon. Again, Nelly Cruz set to lead off for the Rangers in the bottom of the inning. The Rangers will have to duplicate what they did on Monday afternoon. Look for 2 straight afternoon comebacks in the bottom of the 9th. Paints it in there, 1-1. With a Vernon Wells homer on a changeup to get things going in the inning. That ball's into center field. That's a base hit for Mike McCoy to make it 3-1 Toronto. One of those days for Frankie Francisco, a guy that saved 25 a year ago. He is the Ranger closer, and closers occasionally have games like this, but boy, what a shame. There's the ball handed off. We'll tell you about the new Ranger pitcher in just a moment. The Blue Jays, with 3 in the 9th, have gone ahead. At a special time of 2 Central right after This Week in Baseball at 1:30. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Well, just one of those games where Frankie Francisco didn't have his usual assortment of good stuff, and he paid for it with 3 runs in. 2 men on, 2 men out, and Darren O'Day is summoned to try to get Jose Bautista. Be the 8th Blue Jay to hit in this inning. The only Ranger run came in the bottom of the 7th inning on a wild pitch. Casey Jansen pitched the 8th inning after Ricky Romero went the first 7. Jansen's on line for the win. And they will apparently turn it over to Frazier again to try to get that save. Three more hits for Vlad Guerrero today. Hustling double for Nelly Cruz. Murphy a double. That's pretty much it. We mentioned earlier the slow starts for some guys you know are going to be there, but just aren't yet. Borbone hitless for the year. Young only 1 hit in the series. Andrews just 1. And of course Josh Hamilton kind of struggling right now too. That ball pegged foul by Bautista. Tigers lead the Royals now 4-2. They've just gone ahead with 3 in the 8th. Mags Ordonez a home run. Cabrera a home run. Cabrera had a homer to tie the game yesterday. Did he go? No. And the count goes full.
A lot of Darren strikeouts last year, and he had a lot of them, almost 1 per inning. Came on that pitch. When he gets 2 strikes, tries to get the hitter to swing at that fastball, and a lot of times the hitter can't lay off of that.
Runners go, and well, there is laying off for ball 4. Bautista drew a bases loaded walk yesterday. Now the 9th man to hit this inning is going to be Adam Lind. And Ron Washington wants to go get his lefty to face Adam Lind. Well, it's just the 9th inning that would not end. The Jays have batted around. One Darren replaces the other Darren. 3-1 Toronto. Three in the top of the 9th for the Toronto Blue Jays. Rangers make a pitching change. First, we tell you that Saturday, NASCAR on Fox moving to Phoenix. Mark Martin trying to defend his title, try to take home that checkered flag. Coverage of the Subway Fresh Fit 600 from PIR. That's Saturday at 6 Central, 7 Eastern in high def on Fox. Darren Oliver inherits a mess. Bases loaded. And again, 3 runs already in. Linder's been wearing out the Rangers for a couple of years now. 1 for 4 today. Oliver came in with a bases loaded situation staring at him Monday. And boy, he was great. He struck out Lyle Overbay, then retired John Buck. Last night, though, gave up a home run to Vernon Wells. And he is on a long list suddenly of guys that have given up a home run this year to Vernon Wells. Vernon is the only major leaguer with 4 home runs right now. Breaking ball on 2-0, missed. Feliz was throwing nothing but strikes in the 8th. C.J. Wilson, strike throwing machine for 7 innings, but been a battle here for 3 different pitchers for the Rangers in the 9th.
He threw him 3 straight breaking balls because that's the pitch he wants to get him out with. But then you get to 3-0 with the bases loaded. You don't have that luxury. You have to throw him a strike now with whatever pitch you think you've got the best chance to throw a strike with.
Backing up is Andrews. So plant and throw. He got him. Darren Oliver fighting back is out of the inning. The Rangers need 2 to tie and 3 to win. Got the save in the one last night. But back on Monday during the home opener, the Rangers were all over them. They scored twice to win it in the 9th inning. The guy that got the game-winning base knock is now on the DL, Jared Saltalamacchia. It'll be Nelson Cruz to lead off and then Joaquin Arias to follow. The Rangers hoping to pull out some magic here in front of a crowd of close to 15,000. If the Rangers can't do it, they end up 1-2 to start the year. Last year, remember, they got out 3-0 against Cleveland. Nelson had the opposite field double today. Also had one of those against Mr. Fraser on Monday. Needing base runners, you don't have to take that huge swing right now. Just trying to get on base, get something going. Again, Hamilton is due to hit 4th in the inning, and if anybody is looking for a little sweet retribution on both a micro and macro scale, it is Josh Hamilton. He has struck out 7 out of 8 official at-bats this year.
Well, you at least hope that Josh hits, and maybe more. If he hits, he's that guy. He has to at least be the tying run at the plate, and you want to be in that position.
Josh had such a strong spring training. Was carrying a whole lot of swagger and confidence when he took the field on Monday afternoon. This game will humble you, though. Boy, in a hurry. Inside. Up and away. And the tying man for now is Joaquin Arias.
Not exactly what Cito Gaston wanted to see, but that's exactly what the Rangers wanted to see. A base runner.
With Ian Kinsler on the DL, Joaquin Arias kind of throwing a lifeline. He's got a spot on this team for now. Andres Blanco started the day at second base. Now Arias looking for his first hit of 2010. Gotta be so frustrating for Ian Kinsler. You know, he thought he'd be able to come back in a few days when that thing happened with his ankle on March 12th. A few days has turned into a few weeks. Remember, the Rangers were already scrambling in terms of an extra infielder. They thought Khalil Green was going to be on the team, and he would have fit in real well in an emergency kind of situation at second base. He never actually got to spring training. Boy, a couple of strikes to Arias. The luster right now is off that initial discussion of Ricky Romero against C.J. Wilson, the two L.A. born and bred left-handers. 7 innings of brilliance from both of them today. Getting away from Buck, who's into the game at catcher for Molina, down to second base, and that's great because that takes away the double play possibility.
And that pretty much assures that Josh will get to hit as at least the tying run, so that is a good thing. What Arias has to do is just battle here and just try to serve a single out there. Put the ball in play.
Teagarden next, and for now Arias. He's a tying man, but he's down on strikes. Ball moving away from Joaquin. Taylor still looking for his first hit of the year. Teagarden today is 0 for 3, and again, freshly of the news that he's going to be getting a lot of time doing the catching for the Rangers. Saltalamacchia to the DL with that stiffness in his upper back, kind of around the left shoulder area. Matt Trainer has been brought up from Oklahoma City and was set to make his Red Hawks debut tonight, but instead looking to make his Ranger debut this afternoon. It's been an interesting 3 or 4 weeks for Matt Trainer, joining the Rangers at the end of spring training. Probably a little disappointment that he didn't make the team, went to AAA. Bang, here he is, a couple games into the season, right in the big leagues, right where he wanted to be. That's got a little bit of a Joe Girardi look. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Very much so. If he can carry that out into the actual performance field, then everybody's happy. Inside 2-1 again. Josh Hamilton on deck. Joe Girardi and his Yankees drawing the ire of the crew chief of that series. See that? The Yankees and Red Sox playing all those 3.5-hour games. Joe West speaking out and saying it's pathetic. It's ridiculous that the Red Sox and Yankees take 3.5 hours to play a 2-1 game.
I remember how upset people were during the playoffs and postseason last year with all the trips to the mound that Posada was making. Good for the concessionaire, though, I guess.
Good for the TV networks. Keep the eyeballs on the game. But for East Coast fans especially, say under 12 years old.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Want to get to bed by, say, 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. Anyway, 2-2 the count to Teagarden. And down he goes. Hamilton will not bat as the winning man. He'll bat as the tying man. A walk, a wild pitch, now 2 strikeouts. And they're going to change it up here. They got the lefty Downs ready in the bullpen. And they'll look and see if they can get a save out of him.
Well, Downs has been a guy that's had saves in the past. And I think this is probably a situation where Cito this season may mix and match with a closer's role.
He hadn't made the move yet. Now he's not going to do it. The second time that he's gone out there and not made the move.
Well, I think he went out and probably had some words right here as if to say, how are you feeling? All right, you've got a left-hand hitter with power up there. You've got a right-hand hitter that's not known for power up next. Be careful right here. You don't want to make a pitch and let him tie the game. I'm sure that's what's in the back of Frazier's mind.
The pinch walk for Hamilton. That broke a run of 5 straight at-bats with a strikeout.
The Rangers extend the inning for a while. You've got Bourbon coming up, and maybe you'd have the left-hander then.
Up and away, getting away, and trotting down to third is Nelly Cruz. Hamilton's doing really, really, really excellent work in terms of drawing wild pitches in this game. He was at the plate when the Rangers finally scored in the 7th. The ball that got away from Molina. Boy, that extra little add-on run that Toronto got is just huge. Hamilton with a ground ball. This is a very tough one for the Rangers today. And this crowd. C.J. Wilson's heroics for naught. Toronto takes the game and the series. Your final score today, the Blue Jays 3 and the Rangers 1. Wilson with the 9 strikeouts in the 7 innings of shutout baseball. Feliz with a perfect 8th. But Vernon Wells back home. He was the man in this series. He leads the majors with 4 home runs. The last one tied this game. The Blue Jays went on to win it today. Again, that final 3-1.